Senator Kyle Polo's controversial bill sparked a firestorm of debate since its introduction in the Senate. We'll talk with a senior military analyst who believes this bill, if passed, could signal the death of the UEE.
Somebody call an exterminator. Anyone who's been to Vega 2 will know that Neela bugs can be a nuisance. But we'll show you one home that has to be seen to be believed.
Sad news from the entertainment world. Arthur Vinn, the original voice of Rory Nova, passed away earlier tonight during emergency surgery. He was 137.
All that and more on the next Empire Report at 2200 SET. Welcome to episode 51 of Around the Verse. I'm Sandy Gardner.
I'm Ben Lesnick, and the good news is that no one celebrates 51 episodes of something, so we can just have an ordinary show this week.
It's time for the Around the Verse 51st episode spectacular, starring Sandy Gardner and Ben Lesnick, with a special performance from Dan Tracy and the Calyx Renault Dancers. And for the first time ever, you'll see the space crab upside down. And James Pugh will eat an entire...
No, he will not.
Thank you, but no. Just an ordinary week for Star Citizen here. Big news from last week is that Chris Roberts published a letter from the chairman on the status of the FPS update. And we know this is something that everybody asks us about, what's going on with FPS, when is Star Marine hitting? As Chris says in his letter, we don't exactly know yet, but he outlines all the tasks we're working on internally to make it work. It's an interesting read, gets a little bit technical, but the good news is that everything we're doing improves Star Citizen as a whole in the long run. I've heard some claims that it's delayed indefinitely or it's never coming out or anything like that. That is
true.
Not true at all. No,
we purposely did not put in a date this time because
we didn't want to set that expectation.
Right, and then people say indefinitely.
Yeah, not indefinitely. It's all hands on deck working to get it out. So it's not in the distant future. We just don't know the specific day right now. But as you see in Chris's letter, there's a bunch of things we're doing, and we're going to keep you updated each week how they're going. And then it'll get a standard PTU and then wide release as soon as it makes sense to do that.
In other news, the Starliner is now available, and it's actually one of my favorite posts that we've done, even though I'm probably not going to fly the ship.
It's a very esoteric concept for a ship. It's a space airliner. Obviously, there was some interest because folks voted for it in the concept ship poll last year. But we kind of went into this knowing this is not a ship everybody needs. It's a ship that's going to build out the Star Citizen universe. It's part of the background noise that's going to make Star Citizen alive instead of just a big battle. So in our world, obviously you have to get from place to place, so we wanted to create passenger liners like a 737, 747, or an Airbus that will take people from place to place. Tony Zurovec, design director in Austin, took that idea and really ran with it. He created this fantastic concept design for passenger travel in the Star Citizen world, aimed at trying to make it more fun than just moving from point to point. You have to see the post he put out on Friday. It's fantastic. It tells you all sorts of interactive stuff you're going to do during the voyage if you choose to be kind of an NPC passenger transporter. You can also use the Starliner to transport other players for any purpose you might need. We're building out troop transports, landers, that sort of things on the same space frame. But I encourage you, even if you're not interested in the Starliner, check out the post. It really builds Star Citizen's world. There's an interactive story with a bunch of different possible outcomes for depending on what planet you go to. We wanted to put out, we showed the different liveries for the ship. Here's what it looks like when the UEE flies it. Here's what it looks like when a transport group flies it. We asked the character guys in Austin to put together what flight attendants might look like. It's just a real info dump, and we're very proud of it. I think we went into this expecting to sell 300 or 400 of them, and we're well over 1,000 right now. So sale is going great. We're very happy, and it's just cool world building. My job is the best it can be when I'm building worlds.
Yes, and I really like attention to detail, so the post is a great read. Now let's go to the Spectrum for news from around the verse.
Welcome back to sunny Southern California here in Santa Monica, Cloud Imperium Games. I am Darian Vorlick, flying solo now that Travis is no longer here. We kind of miss him. But I'm here to deliver our weekly update. First on the lot that we've got is a lot of our devs have been kind of soliciting feedback because we want to keep balance ongoing. So you may have seen some of our guys, Calix and Matt Sherman, in the chat room looking for people to play with. So our guys have actually been in-game soliciting feedback on different balance, seeing how certain changes are affecting the game. So you'll see a lot of that balance factor into future updates. That leads me to the next one. One of the pieces of feedback that we got was regarding the boost feature, and based on player feedback, that we've been seeing a lot of boost being overutilized. So we've kind of made some tweaks and balance to that. So I believe we're going to be limiting it to about 5 to 10 boosts every minute. Therefore, it kind of recenters the game back around more piloting with normal thrusters rather than using boost every few seconds to gain a speed advantage. So we've got those two things there. And the final one that we've got is more kind of aesthetic oriented. We've got Zane BN, our UI guru, who's been working on the Merlin HUD, who's about 50% finished with it, and it's looking pretty cool. And those who may not know that the Merlin is the little race car ship that goes in the constellation. What makes this HUD unique is that it's not attached to the visor, so it actually looks like a race car's dashboard. It's very functional, very sleek looking, so when you actually see it, you look like you're in the cockpit of an F1 race car or something that's designed to go fast. And it's intentional where we didn't want it attached to the visor. We want it specifically part of the actual dashboard itself. So those are our 3 updates for this week. Nothing too dramatic, but we want to make sure that we let players know that we are taking balance feedback into consideration as we do our play testing. We've got ongoing balance testing internally and with our players as well. So we want to thank you guys for continuing providing us with that feedback. So once again, I'm Darian from the Santa Monica Cloud Imperium Games office. See you guys next week.
Hi, I'm David Langoliers. I'm the senior producer here at Alphonic, working on Star Marine, the FPS module. So this week we have Sean Tracy, Stephen Bender, and Jason Hutchins from CIG visiting with us, helping us out in a couple different ways. Both Bender and Sean are kind of helping us solve a lot of the little animation edge cases that come along with the start, stop, and juke system. Already, Sean, yesterday, working with one of our engineers, Luke here, solved a pretty big issue that was causing a pause anytime there was a movement transition occurring. So already just with that one little thing, it's feeling a lot better, which is good to hear. And another thing that we've been doing is making some changes to the gold horizon level for balance. So throughout this level before, we only had like really one central location where you could refill your ammo and refill your energy if you ran out of ammo or energy for the energy-based weapons on the level. We've added a couple more of those throughout the level so that there isn't just that one focal point when the last few people are around with only a little bit of ammo left. So we're looking forward to play testing with those changes. Some other changes that have been going on are adding some sightline blockers. So we had some areas in the level that have very long sight lines where you can see all the way from one area to the other, which is nice, and you do want some of those for snipers. But they were just a little bit too much and allowing for snipers to have a little bit too big of an advantage. So we're working on putting some blockers in to block out those sight lines from certain areas or reduce them and the angle of those sight lines. So we're looking forward to playtesting those as well. The last change that we've made is we've had to make the levels look nice. We've got a lot of set dressing and clutter kind of up against the wall, garbage bins, stacks of different supplies, things like that. Some of these objects were kind of pushed a little bit too far to the center of some of the main pathways that players would travel, which caused them to get stopped up. And some of the other objects were in areas where players we found they've been wanting to take cover. So we've been taking those objects, sometimes removing them altogether, and sometimes just kind of sliding them out of the way to clear the way for gameplay space, which is the most important thing. So yeah, we'll be playtesting that stuff this week. We're looking forward to it playing a lot better now that those changes have been made. And yeah, that's what we're working on this week. Thanks again, guys.
Hey guys, Jake Ross here, associate producer of the Persistent Universe, and here with me this week I have
Eric Iron Davis. Are we saying titles?
Yeah,
Senior producer from the LA office,
LA
actually,
office,
Santa Monica. Yeah.
Eric's out here visiting. We're going over some character pipeline stuff. Speaking of which, we just wrapped up the Saddleball character.
Yeah.
David Jennison and Billy Lord did a great job doing the suit and the helmet, respectively. It was the first character that we've taken from scratch through all the way through our new pipeline. So I think it turned out pretty well.
Yeah, so if you guys watched a few weeks ago, we were out in the UK. The character pipeline's been a really big thing for us. We've been really trying to develop a new type of tech. If you remember Forestar, Omar, these guys were all talking about how we want the level of fidelity to be really, really great on these characters. So we're trying with these characters to be the first one we've done it with. We've got another gold standard character that we're working on, and we're going to use this pipeline to really put out something cool, hopefully.
Yeah. And so pretty soon we'll have more characters in development, and they'll all be following this new pipeline. So it'd be pretty cool. Yeah. Another thing that we're working on out here is kind of trying to nail down all of our near-term animation requirements in a big schedule. So we have a lot of things coming back from Imaginarium, the mocap shoot, and things like social module animations, FPS animations, things for Squadron 42. And it all needs to be kind of mapped out to see when our animation teams across the company can get to it. So
we talked about this on the 10 for the producers last week with Travis about scheduling, about planning, about building scope and understanding how to get things done, and we've had it in practice. So we've got a large amount of animations coming back, a lot of work to do. So what we do is we map that against the schedule. We look at that, how we're going to get it done, and hopefully very soon. And or what resources we need, right? Whether we need more people or simplification or all kinds of things to get it done and get it out as fast as we can. So it's been a fun exercise, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, lots of fun. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I think that's all our update is for you this week, guys. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, my name is Simon Vickers, and I'm a senior level designer working on Squadron 42.
Hi guys, I'm Will Josephy. I'm also a senior level designer working on Squadron 42. So we're here to talk to you guys about Squadron 42, obviously. I've been working on the VS. It's a small slice of the game that gives us an example of where we're going and all the mechanics and all the situations. You will have seen a small slice of it during Chris Roberts' latest video. It's quite a lot bigger than just that small portion. Hopefully you guys should be able to see it fairly soon in the future. What have you been working on?
Yep, I've been working on the other levels, as have the rest of the level design team here. Whilst we wait for VS to kind of sort out a lot of the experimentational stuff and work out all the mechanics and how we're going to implement them properly, and we'll follow that lead. We've been implementing the objective flow and everything we want the levels to do from start to finish. We're at the point now where we can review and iterate on that and get it just right. We've also been going down to the motion capture shoot down in London every other week and sorting things out there. You've been there a few times, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been down there once. It's an interesting experience. You get to see these actors playing around inside your levels. Everyone that's gone down there seems to have enjoyed it, providing, I hope, valuable information for those guys so they can properly build the sets and get everything right first time. So yeah, it's been good. So that's us working on Squadron 42. See you guys later.
Yeah, see you. Bye.
Big thank you to our studios from around the world. I don't know what to do with my hands.
You can just have them there. There you go. Now let's check in with Lisa Ohanian for this week's episode of Ship Shape.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Ship Shape. This week, we're going to be talking about the Drake Herald and the progress we're making on this ship. We're going to start with a little bit of background information on Drake, the ship manufacturing company behind the Herald. Now, Drake is known for relatively cheap, affordable, well-armored vehicles. And this is because they're a favorite of pirates. In fact, a lot of their ships even happen to have pirate-sounding names, such as the Cutlass. The Herald itself is a small, well-armored intelligence ship, which is perfect for its function of transporting information. It has a powerful engine for data transfer and protection. So we have here some concepts and some work-in-progress images of the Drake Herald. Now, I know the question everyone's been asking is the ship symmetrical? And the answer is yes. We looked into making the ship asymmetrical and symmetrical and looked at some of the different designs, but ultimately decided to go in that direction. Some of the reasons we were at first considering making it asymmetrical are it would fit with the sort of piecemeal pirate-like Drake aesthetic, and it could really interestingly tie into some of the data centers in the ship itself. However, ultimately we decided to make it a symmetrical looking ship because it's better for flight and because it aesthetically still can fit the Drake look. As we're moving forward with the ship, the two main things that we are trying to do is streamline the Herald and also make sure that everything ties in with its functionality in our universe. Streamline-wise, we created a lot of protected compartments for things such as the landing gear, antenna, and other functional pieces, bits, and components that come along with the Drake Herald. Functionality-wise, we wanted to make sure we had enough room for the data modules, power plants, and other technology that a powerhouse intelligence ship like the Drake Herald needs. We also wanted to make sure that everything fit into the ship in a way that made sense, since it's a very narrow ship. One of the major challenges we faced on the Drake Herald as we continue work is the cockpit. As with the body of the ship, the cockpit is very narrow. On the bright side, it gives the ship a very Drake look, since there are other Drake ships that have similar cockpits. But on the flip side, we have to fit the seats, multiple workstations, and a living quarters into this ship. It's really hard to do that and make everything still comfortable looking. Finally, we've also got some work-in-progress images of the antenna that the Drake Herald is going to have. You'll see we have a concept here of what one configuration of the antenna might look like on this ship. A little more work in progress, we also have some alternate options for the layout of the antenna on the Drake Herald. You'll see we've got a bunch of them here. We've sort of roughed these out to see what each one might look like on the Drake Herald before we make a final choice about how the antenna are going to be configured. All right, that's it for this week. Thank you again for joining me on Ship Shape. Back to you guys.
That ship seems to be shaping up.
Sorry guys, I haven't been able to quash Ben's puns. And now over to James, who had a chance to sit down with Randy Vazquez and talk about his experience designing the Genesis Starliner. Take it away, James.
Thanks guys, I'm here with one of our technical designers, Randy Vazquez. Randy, how you doing?
How you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for coming on. So what exactly is a day in the life of Randy Vazquez?
So every day is kind of different. Some days documentation, some days prototyping, some days are going through spreadsheets. It kind of just varies on whatever the needs are. Recently I was working on the Starliner, so I spent a lot of time just kind of concepting the interiors, looking at the different things. So if you guys didn't see it last week, we actually had the segment on the iterations and everything that I had. So yeah, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Like every single tech designer I'm probably sure to talk to, we all have different days based on our specialties, based on our skill sets and everything. So yeah, it's kind of a different question, I don't know.
Starliner is a pretty interesting ship. It kind of shows a different aspect of the gameplay we've shown so far. How did that kind of impact how you designed it?
Well, definitely like where we took the inspiration came from different areas. Like I said last week, it was like looking at things like the Hindenburg, looking at things like cruise liners, trains, commercial airlines, kind of like cargo, even like FedEx, and like even like looking at like C-130s and everything, and just different things. So we took a lot of those images, we took a lot of the layouts of that, and then kind of just mixed and matched everything together, kind of like a hodgepodge of things.
And Chris, I imagine Chris had immediate interaction with it?
Mm-hmm. He was, like early on, he had already spoken kind of what he wanted, so we had a vision going forward. And then I tried to really just push that vision, and then here and there I kind of like went off the rails because I was like, well, let's try this. Like, I was actually looking at feedback on the forums and everything, and people had some really cool ideas, like, you know, the casino version, or like some other type of versions. Like, even there's some versions that after working on it for a little bit that I would want to do. So I don't know if it's possible, but you know, we'll see.
What was it like working on that ship in terms of, like I said before, different aspects of gameplay? Did that kind of free you up to design it a little differently than we may have designed normal ships?
So it definitely changed the way we design things. One thing in particular is PU took a really big interest on the ship itself. So with PU actually taking an interest, they actually were able to give us more information. They were able to give us a little bit more direction of where they're kind of seeing things for the future. So we kind of started planning the ship out for, all right, this is what we're going to have now for the concept, but then as it goes to the future with the actual PU, like, this is what they're going to be using it for. This is how players can actually do this gameplay. Because usually you do something like a Hornet or something like that, and people are like, okay, it's a dogfighter. You know, the Reclaimer was like a repair thing. So those were kind of already set up like, okay, this has this specific role, and it kind of goes from there. Where the Starliner was kind of a blank slate, where like, this could be a luxury thing, this could be a passenger ship, it could be a cargo thing, it could be some military application. So, and we still haven't even finished all the different applications that the Starliner can do. So, being right now we're in the middle of the sale, I mean, the community, when they get their hands on it, they're going to want to change things here and there. They're going to want to get different adaptations, additions to it. So, I'm kind of excited what they were going to do, or what they want for it.
How much has that community feedback impacted what you're going to do with the ship in the future? Because you're not done with it, like you just said.
Yeah, I'm definitely not done with it. Probably working on it forever. No, the community's definitely had like a lot of feedback and input. Just, I haven't really interacted with them much, but I've actually been lurking on the forums and everything, and I'm trying to look at what people are saying.
They won't bite, I promise.
Huh?
They won't bite.
I'm hoping that. But yeah, like, no, I'm looking at the forums and lurking, and I'm definitely interested in what they say, what they want, because then that gives me more avenues to go, and then we can make more variants based on that. Because right now, how I have it designed, it's designed out in the main the cabin, 15 meters, you know, and then certain size width-wise, so that way we can drag and drop things in and out, and hopefully people can start putting things in. Like, granted, this is still a system that we're developing, and we're trying to get situated, but I really want to make this ship as modular as possible.
We gave them an inside look at how you do the white boxing phase, which is something we don't usually do. Hope you liked it. Did that kind of scare you a little bit? Is that something you're used to? Just allowing them to see your work so early.
Actually, I think it's kind of awesome. I had a fun time with it. That's why I was kind of expecting it, because I started saving all my iterations early on, instead of just deleting it and then keep on going, because I really wanted to show, you know, like Chris and everybody else, hey, this is what it started with, and this is kind of what it progressed to. And then when I talked to you guys, and you guys were like, oh, we'd love to show that, and they're like, community would love this. I'm like, awesome, I'll keep saving it. So I kept saving things and making it, and then when I start working on it again and adding more variations, I'll probably save those out so you guys can see where it went and then where it's ending. Like, little by little, I'm modeling more stuff in there, I'm putting more features in there, because, well, all the artwork in there is all just, it's all placeholder. Even the sim pods, people are like, oh my god, they have sim pods. I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's placeholder, don't worry about that.
Community loves you right now, by the way. You just basically said you're going to show them how a ship gets made from start to finish. I hope you're ready to sign up for that, because that's what you just did.
I'm okay with that. So the Starliner is my first ship. I've never designed a ship like this. I've never designed a ship at all.
Yeah.
Except for like Legos back when I was like, you know, young. Or
that's right, Legos.
Last week.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But so yeah, like, it's my first ship. I was really excited about it. Kind of went overboard with a little bit of stuff, but it's fun. I still have a lot to learn on it.
No, it's a great looking ship. I'm really excited. I'm glad the fans got to see it as how they have and how we will progress it from there. I think it's going to be great. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure. Back to you guys.
Thanks, James.
And thank you, Randy. Randy is one of the people who truly made the Starliner a success, and I can't wait to work with him on variants.
That's about it for Around the Verse, but Star Citizen marches on.
We've posted the first Starliner Q&A yesterday. There'll be another one posted tomorrow. If you have some last-minute burning questions, please get them onto the forums, and we will consider them for inclusion.
And because tomorrow is a public holiday here in the States, we will not have Reverse the Verse. But if you're wondering what we're all going to look like tomorrow morning at 11...
Oh.
Maybe not. That was, hey, this is written in here. This is not of my doing.
Now, our American studios are closed tomorrow, but we are still going to bring you the news. Check the com link tomorrow for the FPS Blocker update, the second Starliner Q&A, and of course the June monthly report, which is always fantastic.
And thank you to all subscribers for making this show possible. We will see you next week on Around the Verse.